Stop scrolling right now, because what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. And if you enjoy insane revenge stories that spiral so far out of control they almost sound like a movie, then hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss what comes next. My name doesn't matter anymore, because after what happened, I don't exist in the same way. I'm just the man who lost everything because of an HOA, and then made sure that HOA, and everything it stood for, got erased from the map like it had never existed. It started when I bought my dream, a sprawling mansion carved into the shoulder of a mountain, overlooking valleys so deep and rivers so bright they looked like silver threads at dawn. The kind of place where silence hums louder than any city noise, where you wake up to deer drinking at the stream and fall asleep to the hush of pine needles brushing against the wind. I thought I was buying peace, freedom, and permanence, but I didn't know I had stepped into the jaws of a homeowners association, an HOA that saw itself not as a group of neighbors but as kings of a private empire. They said I owed them fees. At first it was small, a few $100s for maintenance of roads I never drove on, for a gate I never used. I ignored them. I had the deeds, I had the law on my side, or so I thought. Letters came, thicker and angrier, warning me of penalties, liens, legal action. I crumpled them and burned them in my fireplace. What could they do to me up here, on my mountain? I laughed at their threats, until the day the rumble of machinery woke me like an earthquake. I rushed outside in bare feet, my coffee mug spilling on the porch, and there they were, bulldozers, wrecking balls, men in orange vests and hard hats, all marching under the banner of the HOA president, a smirking man with slicked back hair and mirrored sunglasses who shouted over the roar of engines, "Non-payment means forfeiture." They didn't just demolish my home. They reduced it to rubble in front of me, smashed the stained glass windows I had imported from Europe, tore through the oak beams I had salvaged from centuries-old barns, ground the marble floors into dust. They left me standing there in the ash of my life, holding nothing but the key to a door that no longer existed. And that was the moment something inside me broke, or maybe it woke. For weeks I wandered the ruins, sleeping under the stars where my bedroom once stood, my anger fermenting like poison in my veins. They thought I would crawl away, sue in court, beg for mercy. They didn't know me. My family had built empires from nothing, and I had inherited not just wealth but a mind sharp enough to cut through steel. I started planning. I dug into public records, tracing the HOA's finances, finding corruption baked into every ledger. I discovered the president funneled money into offshore accounts, that board members awarded contracts to their cousins, that their fees were a racket feeding a machine of fraud. But I didn't want lawsuits, I wanted annihilation. My first move was subtle. I hacked into their system, planting whispers of scandal, leaks that spread like wildfire on local forums and news sites. People began to question the HOA, neighbors who once feared them now spitting on their name. But still, they held power, too entrenched, too smug. That's when I decided that if they could bulldoze my mansion, I could bulldoze their world. I hired men who owed me favors, ex-soldiers, mercenaries, hackers, ghosts who lived off the grid. Together we designed a campaign not of simple revenge but of erasure. We mapped out every property the HOA controlled, every asset, every political connection. We found weak points in infrastructure, power lines, water supplies, communication towers. I funded operations under shell companies, ensuring no trail led back to me. Then we struck. It began with blackouts that plunged the district into darkness for nights at a time. Then water systems failed, pipes bursting until streets flooded with sewage. Phones went dead, internet choked, and panic bloomed. While chaos spread, I fed documents to journalists exposing every illegal deed the board had committed, and soon lawsuits piled up higher than their luxury cars. But I wasn't finished. I wanted them to feel the crushing weight of helplessness that I had felt watching my mansion fall. So, we escalated. Explosions took down the very offices where the HOA filed its threats, arson claimed the homes of board members, and whispers of shadowy figures lurking in alleys made the rest of the community abandon them. The president tried to run, but I was always 2 steps ahead. I cornered him in a high-rise condo he had bought with stolen dues, the city skyline glittering behind him as I pushed him to his knees. He begged, offering me money, land, forgiveness, but I only leaned in and said, "This isn't about money. This is about balance." When I walked away, the building was already burning. Authorities scrambled, but the more they tried to intervene, the more evidence surfaced that the entire HOA district had been rotten to its core. Politicians who took bribes distanced themselves, insurers refused to cover damages, banks froze their accounts. Within months, what had once been a thriving district governed by an arrogant HOA was nothing but a wasteland of abandoned houses, lawsuits, and ashes. The state itself stepped in, declaring the district dissolved, striking it from official maps as though it had never existed. Reporters called it the fastest collapse of a community in modern history. Neighbors whispered about a phantom who had orchestrated it, a ghost who had lost everything and taken vengeance with surgical precision. They never found me, and they never will. I built a new mansion, far away, under a new name, where no HOA dares to breathe near me. But sometimes, at night, when I stand on the balcony and look at the stars, I think of how fragile power really is, how quickly it can be erased. They bulldozed my mountain mansion over unpaid fees, but I bulldozed their entire district off the state map, and I'd do it again, because some wars aren't about winning or losing, they're about making sure no one forgets the price of crossing the wrong man.